let's go ahead and jump into what everybody comes here to listen to us talk about, which is the movie reviews. We're going to start off with the one and only The Justice League. Not to be confused with, sorry, The Suicide Squad. Not to be confused with Suicide Squad, because bad movies are still in the taste of mine. I'm trying to watch it out. Let's go jump right into it with you, Jason. What is your thoughts on The Suicide Squad?
I loved this movie. I loved this movie. It's not without its flaws. Particularly for me, is that Harley Quinn is starting to wear on me. Especially in this movie, there's a sequence with her being courted by the El Presidente of Corto Maltese, and then her shooting. Like they could have cut that whole entire sequence out and had them trying to rescue her and her rescuing herself, and the movie would not have changed any one whit. Her stick is starting to wear down. Even though Margot Robbie is very good at it, she's very entertaining in that role. It's just that it's kind of like Deadpool to me. It's wearing me down. Other than that, I loved pretty much everything about it. I love the fact that um, Amanda Waller they pretty much made everybody's character work in this one. Like they were able to factor in like not just like their overall base character, but also some of the nuances in it. I like the fact that like Amanda Waller and Peacemaker are kind of like the same sort of like we will do anything for the protection of our country, but they also kind of feel bad about it too. Like when Amanda Waller is going to blow up, spoiler alert, Savant's head, she's like, "Damn it!" And you can feel like, and like like those little like B moments are like make the character for me. Like, and when like Peacemaker's killing Rick Flag, another spoiler. Like he's horrified by that decision, even though he was going to do it anyway. So it's like those little small moments that like James Gunn made into their. It was just so good, and pretty much everybody had their powers were necessary for this one, like because it was not a world-ending event until it became a world-ending event. So the reason everybody was there kind of made sense. The reason why, Harley Quinn was there was because she was on the team that was supposed to all die. So even her inclusion made sense because it was everything like was wrapped up and nice and neat. And the only thing that was really like underutilized was the rebel faction of it. They were just kind of there for plot purposes, but freaking Idris Elba like did a wonderful job. They subverted expectations with the caring father and who's in prison with like they literally did the opposite of Deadshot in this. He's like, "Why are you fucking here? Like, why are you even talking to me right now?" But he still cares though. So it's like he's not like this lovey-dovey like heart of gold guy. He's like, "I don't want to do this. I don't want to be a parent to you, but I'm still going to go on a suicide mission so you can have a better life." Like all the stuff with Ratcatcher 2, great. The fact that they called her Ratcatcher 2 was just fucking phenomenal because they like alluded to there was a Ratcatcher 1,
Oh, do you guys catch what that was?
Yeah, it was Taika
Waititi. Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking, I've never liked John Cena in any movie except for this one. He was the perfect sort of goofy, fucking murderous psychopath that, like, he was great. Even the side characters are great. The people in Argus, or I know they never really, say their, but Task Force S, all the worker people were good. Yeah, everything was great. I can't say anything. This is probably one of the best superhero movies. It is probably the best DC superhero movie to come out in the since the 80s. Or at least since Batman, the Nolan series. Anyway, so I was really enjoying. I had fun. I watched this movie twice.
All right, Jaron.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it too. It definitely had its problems. I think one of the best parts for me is just having a background in visual effects. I loved, and I talked to Jason about this. I loved that King. They never shot for King Shark. Like he was. They were like the visual effects guys. They must have had a team on set, and they're like, film the movie exactly how you want. We will do what's necessary to make it work in post. And it never felt like they framed a shot specifically to make it easier. Also, there's a lot of CG, and we had also talked about this where they didn't cover with the darkness of night. They let this shit happen in the daytime.
A big, bright,
look,
colored starfish, like CG star. Yeah, it's a CG starfish, but it works because it's not this dark sort of thing. Like,
really, I mean, it's a bait and switch, and it's funny, and I can laugh about it. But I'm still a little salty that Pete Davidson, Nathan Fillion, and Flula Borg, who I all love in other things, were prominently shown off and had a huge campaign where they are on their own Instagrams talking about this movie and building up, and then fucking 10 minutes in, they're all dead. Also, Nathan Fillion's character,
one of my biggest complaints too.
Nathan Fillion's character, when his arms come off and they go, it's slow. It's like at a walking speed of a human, and then when they get there, all they do is kind of slap fight. Like,
it's so useless.
Fucking hilarious. And everybody's like, "Oh, that's what that is? Oh, that guy sucks." Oh man. And there was no consequence for it when they killed off all those rebel insurgents. But I loved the moment where they like come into Rescue Flag and they have just like gleefully murdered all of these people, thinking they're like the worst of the worst. And it happens to be freedom fighters. I mean, there's like, they come out and like surveil the thing, all of this girl's like people, and there's like burnt crispy bodies and shit where they were lighting them on fire, having like competing to see who could kill them better. I mean, it was that whole thing fucking, I loved it. I thought that was great. There were some things, Polka Dot Man, why have him do the thing where he has to throw up a bit? Because it only seemed to happen in the beginning and just to give him a line. Whereas it seemed like, and correct me if I'm wrong, if he had just expelled some of the polka dots like straight up in the air or something, then he wouldn't have had to like swell up and throw up. He just said he needed to get them out, right? So just fucking shoot them out of your hand directly into the ground or straight up in the air or wherever you want to get, like burn some trees down or something, and then you don't have to have that weird fucking pussy, glowy, I don't know, where he had to go vomit. Like it seemed we need to give this guy a line and make him stupider. So here you go, you know. But then again, once the movie kicks off, all of a sudden he's cured of it. It doesn't happen again. Standout, laugh out loud moment for me: the miscommunication about who Milton is was fucking hilarious in the building, and then the callback later when she clearly didn't understand what was going on. It's like, we had a whole conversation about you being Milton. Like, 3 hours ago. Fucking loved it.
We're Milton, man.
Yeah, it did hit some poignant points. I felt it when his daughter was watching on TV. She's like, "That's my dad," after their whole big thing at the beginning. So I thought there was a little of emotional hook and the payoff at the end. I enjoyed it. There were some kitschy things. As soon as Polka Dot Man says, I'm a superhero, and then repeats it, I'm like, there's a beat and he's dead. I guarantee it. And cliche to the moment. I was like, yep, call that fucking absolutely. But yeah. And again, it's very impressive. I was looking for King Shark for a scene in which I could see some, quote unquote strings. And no, they fucking did a phenomenal job with him all the way through, even in like a dumb throwaway scene where he's just crying alone in the Jeep because he can't go inside the bar with everybody else. Like, I mean, brilliant. But yeah, it rang a little hollow at some points. I wouldn't heap as much praise on it as Jason as far as being the best since Nolan. But I enjoyed it. And it's one of those things that I will not turn off if it just comes on TV. I will watch it again. I'll probably buy it on 4K Blu-ray so that I can look at all the behind the scenes stuff, because I know there's a lot of funny shit with that.
All right. Oh man. I think it's whatever.
It was a movie that happened.
Yeah. So yeah, this movie made me want to commit suicide on my soul. That's what I'm going to say, because all right, this movie has no soul. It has nothing in it, and every time I thought it was going to get to something responsive or worth something, I just undercut it with another joke, because it this movie means nothing. It literally means nothing. And for the DC universe is at this moment, it's the wrong movie for this moment for DC. DC needs something that's going to be poignant and is going to be not even connective tissue, but feel good and big in the universe to help write it. This movie, I feel like, it'll say after Flashpoint, which is supposed to be a big, universe bending thing. If it had been like after Flashpoint, it'd been great. Like how they did with Ant-Man and Marvel. Ant-Man and Marvel, you could place it in the spot. It didn't really matter because you had all the other stuff that was working. You throw that in there, have a fun movie, cool. Because it was just really a catch and retrieve type of movie, which is fine. That's what the Suicide Squad is. So I didn't need any villain. I just needed them to complete objectives. That's their goal, is to complete objectives that they don't think anybody else can do, or they don't want to sacrifice the manpower to do it themselves. So you send these villains to do it. It was so many moments where I felt it should have been some feeling there. Like you talked about the camp scene. The camp scene is great. And I had a great time watching it until I realized, oh, those were the good guys. And then nobody gives a shit that you slaughtered these good guys. Nobody. Not even Flag. Not even the Freedom Fighters leader. The Freedom Fighter leader was like, those were my people. Oh, yeah, but let's go fight. Even if they would have had her be like, hey, the threat is bigger, so let's deal with that because you can help me with that. But after that, I'm coming after you guys. Even then, I would have been like, okay, at least she acknowledges that, like, this sucks, but I have a worse problem going on I got to deal with. But no, it was Rick, oh, you're drinking tea. Oh, I don't know how these people got here. Like, you're villains. Just be like, yeah, we fucking started them. We thought they were the bad guys.
They did. They said, like, when they were standing there, they're like, where happened to my guys? It's like, I don't know. Oh, I
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's my point. Like, they joked about it. Like, you're fucking villains. You kill people every day. What are you scared of this lady after you just slaughtered her whole people? Like, be like, yeah, I killed them. Fucking, we came to rescue this dude and you held him, so we killed him. Like, but no, it was, oh, let's make a joke. Even Harley Quinn's moment with the guy, like you said, it's supposed to show the evolution of her choosing to not longer be in destructive and bad relationships. She counters that with a dick joke. Like, every time it just felt like something was going to happen to mean more, it was like, nah, let's cut it with some humor. And then they never go back to the resonance of that. It just disappears. I don't need the dude's mama dancing as like being a starfish. The club scene with her dancing was great. Beautiful scene. Great, works great. To nail that home for us. You did it. You did it in the jungle. You did it in the club scene. Great. I don't need his mama being a starfish. It's dumb. Like, this is supposed to be the city ending threat because Starro made it very well known he just wanted the city. He didn't care about the world. He didn't care about the planet. He was like, no. Leave this city. I want this city, which I thought was good writing because that explains why you didn't have like superheroes to the rescue, because it probably didn't make it that worldwide yet because he kept saying he wanted the city. All right, cool.
Third world
problem. Right. Small town. Fuck you guys. It just feels like James Gunn as a movie maker is phenomenal. Like, this movie is beautiful. It's well photographed. Everything that you want to say technical about a movie, it is there. Even from just the scripting is there. It felt like it had no soul. And I don't know if it's because he couldn't find the right character to latch that onto, or I don't know. It just felt like after I watched it, I was like, oh, that was really well made. Was my exact words to my wife. Like, that was really well made. Like, but nothing really meant shit here. Like, I mean, you have Black James Bond and Black Superman in the movie, and you couldn't get any emotion out of me for it. Like, you have a Viola Davis who's a beat, and that's the problem, because Viola Davis is so fucking good in this. Every scene she kills it. And I'm that's the kind of energy I need. Nobody else felt like they had that energy, and nobody else felt like they had that kind of wherewithal to bring any gravitas to it. And she wasn't in the movie enough to add that gravitas. So the rest of the movie was just jokes for the sake of jokes, guys. Let's hang out and let's go do this mission. Yeah, because we the Suicide Squad. Or sorry, Task Force X. Yeah. Like, again, you'll see from my rating, I don't think it's a bad movie at all. I think it's very well made. It just, I guess, one of those things where it's like if you're baseball analogy, you hit a nice shot and it's going over the fence and a guy jumps up and robs it right from you. That's what I thought about Suicide Squad. When I hit that ball, I was like, oh, this is a home run. And as I kept sitting and waiting and it kept going, I'm like, oh shit, that dude's about to catch the ball. Fuck. That was my feeling about Suicide Squad. It was almost a home run, but it just, at the last minute, Bo Jackson ran up the wall and caught it and was like, sorry, bro, you're out. Go to the bench. So I know you guys have rebuts on this one, so bring it here. Bring it out.
No, your opinions are valid. You're a valid person. You're not Jared. It's not completely off base. I love you, Jared. For me, like the way I see it, and Jared might agree with me in this one. If you are doing animation, right, you have your keyframes, which is the major actions, and then you have your in betweens, and in the in betweens is where you form character, right? In betweens are the smaller parts of the main action. Is where you form character. And in this movie, there wasn't a whole bunch of big things that made the characters. There were these small little moments that made character for me, and that's what I really appreciated about it. As I said, from when Waller was like, "Damn," when she killed Savant, like she didn't do that in the first movie. There was not that small moment. That small moment there is what made her character. It made her seem like, yeah, she's willing to do these horrible, horrible things, but it still weighs on her, right?
Right.
Although she lost that energy at the end when they turned around to go back towards Starro, she's ready to press all the buttons.
Yeah, she was ready to press all the buttons, but she was still hesitating, right? Yeah. Like in the first movie, Rick Flag pressed that button as soon as Slipknot went up the building. Like 30 seconds, right. not even 10 seconds, right? Yeah. And she's sitting there like, turn back. And then the lady hits her and like, they're like, let him do the thing. But even when what's his face? John Cena's character kills Rick Flag, Peacemaker. Like that whole entire fight scene, you can tell like Peacemaker the whole entire time was like, I will do anything to bring peace. I don't care who I have to kill, who I have to do whatever. He lets his character be known, like that he will do anything. And like Rick Flag is like, what are you doing? He's like, I told you I will do anything to make, and she told me this will maintain peace. I told you this. Please don't make me kill you, because I will. And at the end, when he ends up killing him, it's not a big thing. You just see it in his eyes that he is upset of killing him. He is shocked that he had to kill him, even though he's a straight up murderer. Right. And those points, like, not every director, not even every actor can pull that off. Right. And they got John Cena to pull that off. To me,
again, it's moments. Like I said, I always just feel like it gets undercut because even in that moment, didn't at that point they rewound like to the other group, and then we get the goofiness after we had this serious moment. Like
something silly happens, but that's what I like about.
That's what I'm like.
That's what I like about James Gunn and Taika. I can't even say his name, but they do these things where they can make these silly. For me, anyway, your opinion's fine. They can do these things where they make these silly jokes. And then afterwards, give us some drama, and that we feel, because I felt when fucking Rick Flag died, and then go back to making silly jokes, and it's not like a huge disconnect for me. Like, if you ever watched Jojo Rabbit, there's a lot of silliness in that shit. But at the minute of that fucking movie, I'm fucking crying. I'd laughed out loud plenty of times.
Dramedy.
And this one did the same for me.
But I think he did a better job in all those movies you're creating of building these characters, the people that and I know these are villains, we're not supposed to like them, but he built these characters so when those moments of drama happens and hits, we actually feel something with it. I'll admit, I felt something for Rick Flag, but because let's be honest, him and Harley Quinn were the only characters there that we had been spent the most time with from the trash first one and then going into this one. So it was a built-in thing, and let's be real, we probably all assumed going into it that Flag probably wouldn't die. So when it does happen, it is a jarring moment, but I wouldn't say that it's a emotional moment based off what the film gave us. I think it's an emotional moment because I think it was surprising because we figured he would be one of the few guys, like if Harley would have died in this movie, it probably would have been a jarring moment, but it wouldn't have been like, oh my God, I can't believe it. It'd have been like, oh wow, that's crazy they killed Harley Quinn. So I feel like the moment was more because of that, less because of the drama was built because we actually felt something for these characters. It was more like, oh shit, this is actually going down. Oh shit, he made sure to let you know that Rick Flag died by giving you the Mortal Kombat video game.
X-ray from shoving into his heart.
Right.
Mortal Kombat.
Sure
Like, no, he ain't coming back, y'all. Not in a sequel.
Right.
Either him nor Captain Boomerang coming back.
But let's go ahead. Let's jump right into our ratings. Jaron, what's your rating on this?
I'm gonna give since we're doing percentages or fractions, I'll give it a 4.6.
Wow, great. Okay. Jason.
Well, obviously 5 is the highest, so I can't give it a 5.5, so I'll give it a 4.9.
You just gave it a 5.
As I said, there's some, what really ruined it for me for the most part was the trailer, because they gave us a shot of both teams, and from that trailer you can tell who was going to die. For at least for me, you're going to tell who's going to die. And I was like, yep, that's exactly how I planned, how I thought it was going to go. But
yeah,
4.9.
I give it a 4, man. Run down to your local Blockbuster and or Amazon Prime it and enjoy it. Yeah, it's a great movie. I think it's a really good, well-made movie. Even though I did have a head canon section for it, where I felt like it would have been even doper if Starro would have been controlling Viola Davis or Amanda Waller. And I wish somewhere in my mind there's a movie being made where he's controlling Amanda Waller, like being on his chest, like Batman
Like
Beyond
Superman?
with Superman.
Yeah.
Yep. And Red Hood ends up investigating why Amanda Waller's acting crazy. And Red Hood interacts with Task Force X.
We can sit down and write this out.
That movie's in my mind somewhere. Yeah, that would have been really, really dope. At least they would have gave us the Red Hood character as somebody who's likable, but is still a shady individual. But all right,